In the second part of this lecture, we're going to cover 3 additional hands-on training methods: case studies, role plays, and behavior modeling. Last week, you submitted your first case study, and now you are familiar with the process of analyzing a case, or a description of a problem or a situation in an organization, and of identifying ways that the characters could have approached the situation differently. Some cases are based on real organizations and real problems, while others are based on fictitious organizations. The trainer serves as a guide, helping trainees learn through a process of discovery. They learn as they move through the process and as they engage with the material. There is no one right answer to a case study. Instead, trainees are evaluated on how well they apply training content to the situation, to the case. The good news is case studies can be engaging. They require trainees to interact with the material, and if the method is used in small groups, with their peers. If designed properly, case studies can also be highly relevant to the job. They can be especially useful for teaching intellectual skills, like synthesis and evaluation, skills that are often required by today's knowledge workers. But the results of a trainee's evaluation produces only a set of hypothetical recommendations that cannot always be validated or transferred to the workplace. It may be difficult to find cases that are relevant to the training topic, and it can take quite a bit of time to write or produce our own cases. Plus, the process requires trainees to have a high degree of motivation and some existing verbal information. Nonetheless, case studies are often a favorite training method among college students, and we do use this method in this course. Role plays also involve a description of a job-relevant problem or situation. Trainees are asked to take on a role, such as manager, employee, or customer, and act out different scenarios and explore what might be involved in the role. If the training group is large, they can be split into smaller groups of 2 to 4 people. If the training group is already small, a handful of trainees can volunteer and act out the roles while the rest of the group observes. Structured role plays share a few features. Trainers start out by explaining the context, much like a case, and describing the situation in which employees are expected to act out their roles. For some role plays, it helps to give trainees scripts with plenty of details and checklists to help them keep track of key issues. After the acting portion is complete, trainers should debrief the learners and explain the relevance of the activity to their jobs. It helps if trainers provide constructive feedback and positive reinforcement, encouraging those who may be shy about acting in front of people. Role plays provide opportunities for trainees to observe one another, even if they don't act out the roles themselves. Practice if they choose to act, and participate in the feedback process. They are complementary to lectures in that they are useful for teaching the skills that lectures are least effective in teaching, and vice versa. Rarely do we use lectures to teach interpersonal skills, but guess what? Role plays are uniquely designed to develop these specific skills. Some trainees may be apprehensive about acting out unfamiliar roles in front of unfamiliar people. This is why small groups can be helpful when training audiences are large. And don't judge or evaluate trainees' acting. Focus on the conceptual value of their behaviors, not how well they act. It can also be difficult to mimic the training environment in a role-play situation. Usually we don't use props or a stage, although this would certainly enhance the fidelity of the situation. For this reason, role-playing scenarios may have limited relevance to the trainee's actual job. In order to maximize the benefits of role plays, encourage all trainees to attempt to act out the roles, and use job analysis to identify job-relevant scenarios that will have significant meaning to the learners. Behavior modeling is the final demonstration-based training method that we'll cover in this two-part lecture. It is based on social learning theory, which suggests we learn by observing others and the consequences of their behavior. Using this method, trainers start by providing an overview of the key behaviors that are required to complete a task, and then clearly demonstrating each one. The best behavior modeling programs also demonstrate the incorrect way to perform a behavior. Then trainees practice these key behaviors several times in a risk-free environment, usually in front of their peers, and the trainer and their peers then provide constructive feedback. Practice sessions can be filmed, and trainees can watch the film and provide additional feedback for improving how they perform the behavior. Like role plays, behavior modeling also provides opportunities for observation, interaction, practice, and feedback, but for everyone involved in the program. So it's highly effective in promoting transfer. Like the other hands-on methods, this one is useful for teaching a range of interpersonal skills. Because it involves multiple stages, this method can be time-consuming and difficult to implement effectively with large audiences. Behavior modeling also suffers from low fidelity, as it can be challenging to mimic the work environment in meaningful ways. Now that you've learned about these hands-on methods, take a look at the examples of how companies use them today on this Canvas page.